Now that you've found UBN Radio and discovered our quality talk shows, it's time to spread the word to friends, family, and the universe. 24 hours of music and talk. Radio without limits. That's why people keep coming back for more. That's ubnradio.com.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, love, laugh, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Fay on ubnradio.com.
And welcome. You are tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa every Tuesday at naturally high noon here at Universal Broadcasting Network out of the Sunset Gower Studios, and on Thursdays my CNBC syndicated channel KCAA AM 1050 for your drive home at 7. And this is a show about hope and how to be happy 88% of the time. And people ask me all the time, why 8, Dr. Marissa? Because 8 is a homonym in my heritage, my Chinese roots. And 8 means good fortune. So that's why it's 88% of the time. And then people say, why not 100% of the time? Well, the 12% is for contrast. If we were happy 100% of the time, we wouldn't know that we were happy. So that is why I do say that. And if you haven't already, become my friend on Facebook, LinkedIn, or follow me on Instagram as Doc Balance. You'll see all of my hashtag happiness88 posts, all meant to encourage you to find the hope and happiness and beauty that is within you. And yes, so because I am focused on the heart lines and not the headlines, we don't talk a lot about things that are negative without looking at the solution side. So if you've missed any of my past shows with Fran Drescher, who talked about how to minimize your risk to cancer, with Paul Cardall, a heart disease survivor who is now continuing to use his platform as a Billboard #1 artist to help children with heart disease. All my guests are on here to help in all of those aspects in life that are not happy right away, but it gives us an opportunity to expand into that. And today is actually a little bit of a selfish show. I wanted to understand what the stars said about me. I've never really had my chart read officially. So I looked around and I could not help but bring on our resident pro here at Universal Broadcasting Network. She has her own show. Her name is Rachel Lang, and her show is called Blissen Up. She's an astrological consultant and healer. Without further ado, please welcome Rachel to my studio.
Thank you so much.
It's so great to have you.
I'm so excited to be here on the show. I love your show. I love the guests that you've had on. It's such an honor to be in the company of such incredible people. So thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And in order to validate any of the things you're going to say about me, I thought it would be interesting to have a good friend of mine come on and say, yeah, that's her, and no, that's not her at all. And her name is Tiwana Floyd, and she's my Agape Love Burrito Diva sister, which just means that we're in the Agape International Spiritual Center choir, and we're both first sopranos, where we are very shy. I should speak for myself. Sarcasm is her service that I offer. Tiwana Floyd is an actress. You'll recognize her face, been on a number of things, and she also runs a blog that she'll tell you about in a bit. Welcome to the studio, Tiwana.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
She's also my resident star, because I say there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K-words, no Kardashian talk on this show. I'm not, actresses and actors are wonderful people, but they're just actors and actresses. And so I think sometimes we get a little overzealous with the attention and what they do wrong or what kind of bad relationships they're in. So I'm always trying to balance that out. But it is interesting, I think, in horoscopes to sort of understand where some people are coming from. So Tiwana's also here to put in her 8 cents worth when it comes to who's what. All right, so let's just start broadly about horoscopes. And I'm a very high, in psychology we call it internal locus of control. So there's two spectrums. People who are external locus of control people are usually those who believe in fate or believe in astrology to the extreme where I'm not going to live my life until I check what it says, what's going to come today. And then I'm going to move and groove and modify what my plans were based on my astrological forecast. That's a high external locus of control. I'm high internal locus of control. And those are the people that says it doesn't matter what the economy says. It doesn't matter what the forecast is for jobs or anything, or it doesn't matter what kind of family you came in from. You create your own reality. You create your life the way that you believe it is. And so with that high focus, horoscopes have never been that much of a determinant. However, I do know myself enough that the other day, Tiwana was saying, why do you want to be in the front row of the choir? Why do you, when we go, and I looked at her, I'm like, I'm a Leo. Of course I will. Are you kidding me? So I do use it, right? I may not take a huge stock in it, but I do use it. So I wanted today to have you come on. I gave you my birth date. You're not allowed to say the year because I'm ageless.
I would never do that.
Yes, thank you. And so you're going to read my charts in a little bit. But first, I wanted you to go through for all of my listeners. And shout out to Ann Newman. Her birth date is May 24th, and I don't know if you had a chance to look at that one. We're gonna. You can just tell me. We'll start with her grouping and go from there. And she gets a shout out because she donated to my 21-day fast from complaining app. So thank you, Anne. All right. So let's start with what would May 24th be?
I need the year to find out what. But
okay.
I can tell you just on the surface.
Yeah.
That she's a Gemini.
Okay.
And so is Tiwana.
Yeah.
All right. So let's start
Love
with
our
Gemini.
Geminis. We love our Geminis.
Yeah.
And so the thing about Geminis have a real need. So the Geminis have a real need to communicate, to express themselves, to write, to teach, to blog, exactly. And so a lot of your sun sign, astrology is based, looks at the person as a whole person. So when you look at a chart and you construct a chart, every single planet symbolizes some aspect of your personality, some aspect of your life. And just to kind of speak to what you were saying about, how much of our lives is destined and how much can we create. I believe I approach astrology not as it's this absolute, definite, way to read what's happening in your future. I agree with you that we do create our lives and that our choices, our thoughts, our actions, the people that we encounter, everything shapes and molds the trajectory of where we're going. Now, what astrology does that's so beautiful is it reminds us of how intricately connected we are to the universe, to the divine, to one another, in ways that transcend our understanding, in ways that we can see and not see. And so I operate under the premise, I operate my whole life under the premise that the divine is always mediating in our environment, always participating in our lives in a way that we can actually see things, see symbols, see messages, see information. Just in the fact that you called me on the show is symbolic that it's kind of a guidepost moment that the divine is saying, hey, Rachel, you're on the right path. Keep going in this direction. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or sometimes if you have like a butterfly crosses your path and you instantly think of a loved one who's passed on in spirit, you're getting a message from that, from that incident.
That message.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Right.
So astrology is kind of like that.
Well, you got me then. So, because that still is aligned with the creating, because if you create just based on nothing, it's alone. But if you create based on the belief system that there is a friendly universe out there and that there is this grand plan and design that you live in joy, which is my belief system, and that everything that happens to me is for my divine and best good, then I can still hold the the signpost, as you put it, around the planetary, the forces that shape who we are. Okay, so I'm in.
Absolutely. and so so I could when I see your chart,
Yes.
I see all these symbols of your divinity. I see all these marks, that Leo quality, that Leo characteristic of like, I want to be the center stage. It's interesting. So because Leos have a real need to be self-expressive, and different in a way that Gemini have a need to be self-expressive too, but it's more like Gemini have all these thoughts that they want to communicate, and they have like this wealth of information and knowledge, and especially you with your Sagittarius moon, and we'll talk about your chart too. But you have all of this depth of knowledge that you're hungry to transmit. And with Leos, it's more about there's this sense that your calling is to be a messenger.
A wallflower.
No, yeah, totally a wallflower. Well, it's interesting because a lot of Leos struggle with they have a lot of charisma. And there are two types of Leos.
Okay.
There are the types of Leo who, as children, and from the work that you do that so much of who we are is shaped in our childhood experiences. And for Leos, you have a lot of charisma, a lot of personal presence, and so when you walk into a room, everyone's going to know it. And Tiwana, you have a Leo rising, so this fits you too.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
I am listening.
Wow. That's why we get along.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. I mean,
think so.
it's really there are other compatibility markers as well.
Okay.
But what happens when you have a lot of Leo in your chart and you're a child is that you walk into a room, you fill it up, and everybody sort of notices you. And as a child, your world is such that you can look at that and say, everybody's looking at me, there's something wrong, or I'm being judged, and especially if you have a wounded childhood. So there are two types of Leos. The types of Leo who says, everyone's looking at me and I love it. I'm going to step even more out on stage. Or sometimes a lot of times Leos, the stage gravitates toward them. So their parents might push them, or they might land roles early in life, or have experiences that give them a platform to step up on and perform. Or there are other kinds of Leos who say, this is scary, everyone's looking at me, there's something wrong, I'm going to go into hiding. That's something that happens with a Leo rising a lot of times, is that most of your life is spent living into your charisma, living into that passion, and it's not an easy path for you, but it's something that is destined, that's your calling. And so a lot of times when there is a destiny or there is a calling, there's a lot of internal resistance to that. And so when you can come up, when you can release any kind of restraint that you have from following that pull, then all of a sudden your purpose unfolds for you, and there you are on stage. And for you, this plays out really significantly because your North Node, which is a karmic destiny point, is right in your first house, in your first house, which is the house of self and the house of sort of your presence in the world. So much of your life path is marked with releasing the fears about being seen.
Oh yeah, I can totally agree with
Yeah.
that. I thought it was because I turned 40 and I was like, I'm 40 now, so I can step out. But
Right.
it's probably
That sounds more, it's resonating
both,
what
yeah.
you're saying.
Yeah.
And if you've just tuned in, you are listening to Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa. And today we're talking about, what sign are you? And it's not a pickup line. It's actually an exploration of the horoscope with Rachel Lang from Blissen Up, UBN's other show. When is your show?
It's on Fridays at noon.
Fridays at noon.
Yes.
And you actually have people call in and you do their charts on
I do.
Interesting. So we, Tiwana and I are benefiting because we gave all this information. So we're getting our charts read, as well as if you are listening and you're a Leo or a Gemini or any of these other signs that we're going to go through, you might catch a glimpse of why you are the way you are, maybe. So I'm gonna because it's all about me. How many planets? I've been told.
I love this.
Sorry,
You're
this
such
is
a Leo,
right? Right.
with an Aries rising.
And I do have an Aries rising, right?
Yeah.
Because I was told that, and my big brother, Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, when I told him that, he goes, Oh, well, that makes
sense.
total sense because not only do you have to do everything, you have to be the best at everything. And I went, okay, that's me. So as much as I want to fight this, it is true. Now, is it because I was born on that particular date and time and location? It
Yes.
also goes by location.
Yeah.
That I was like, is there any way that I couldn't be as shy as I am? Is there any way that I couldn't be, want to do everything? Is it because of the stars that I am the way I am, or the force of who I wanted to be coming in landed me in that?
It's more of that
constellation.
It's more.
Okay.
It's more of that. It's more of your soul had a spark of knowledge of what it wanted to do when it was here on this earth. You had a reason why you wanted to come, and you said, you know what? Here's this family, and this family looks pretty good, and I've got this particular date that I absolutely want to be born on at this particular time, because so the chart is a reflection of your soul's greatest desires, of who you are.
I like that.
Yeah.
Chart is a reflection of your soul's greatest desire.
Right.
Love it, love it, love it.
And
love
sometimes those greatest desires aren't the things that are the easiest. Yeah. So for example, one of the influences that you have in your chart is Saturn, which is the planet of that tells us about our early parental environment, our primarily a relationship with father, and also it's the planet of that indicates our limitations, our kind of hardwired challenging beliefs. And for you, your Saturn's in retrograde at the time of your birth, which a lot of times indicates that you came here with some real abandonment fears. And some real that is one of the fears that plays out for you in much of your life. And so I would say that your soul probably desired to learn about connection and about the need for others through some of those early experiences of abandonment and some of those biggest fears that led you to really craving connections with others.
So would that explain the revolving door that is my love life?
That would explain it.
Okay.
that would definitely explain it.
All right then. See, I can't help it. It's in this constellation.
It is, but you can take that and say, okay, this is the revolving door.
Yes.
And the beautiful thing about your chart is that we talked about this just before the show. You have Mars, which is the planet that indicates your attraction for men and your attraction for partners. Is your Mars is in the sign of Virgo, in the 6th house. So there's you heal. You're in the constant process of healing, of healing those early wounds. So your healing, your personal healing, then goes to serve other people. And so there's a real tendency for you to take all of your experiences, say, okay, I'm thinking them through. I've got it.
Yeah.
I've got all this Leo energy. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to express myself. I'm going to step up on stage. I'm going to influence other people. I'm going to inspire other people. That's what fire does. Fire lights, fire. If you think about the element of fire, Leo and Aries and Sagittarius are all fire signs. If you think about the element of fire, when a spark catches something, it's an instant. It like immediately ignites, like fire wants to spread. And that's you. Your messages, your words all want to
show.
spread. Yeah.
The TV,
Yeah,
books, the motivational speaking. Okay, so I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Yes, totally.
All right, good. And if you've just tuned in, you're listening to the brilliant Rachel Lang from Blissen Up, and we're talking about signs and astrological signs. So I went to Yahoo and put in is astrology fake or real? And it was really interesting because a person who actually had a column, astrology, he said it was real. Surprise. Yes. And then a skeptical Gemini said, no, it's fake. So depending on who you are there people that are more trusting because of their signs?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
So what are the trusting signs?
So the trusting signs are usually Pisces, usually water signs, because they're pretty intuitive and they kind of have a sense of Pisces for sure. Okay. Anyone with a real strong Neptune in their chart is going to be like, I get it. Earth signs are usually a little bit more skeptical. So our Tauruses, our Virgos, and our Capricorns, because they're practical. Earth is all about what is here and now, what is in front of me, what is material. The signs of seekers, Sagittarians, for example, Geminis a lot of times are very, very interested. Leos like to know about themselves. but it's true because that's one of the things that you're here to figure out. That's,
Right.
So but usually our earth signs are a little bit more skeptical. So that Gemini probably had some Taurus in his chart or some other influences in his chart.
Now, what do you say to people who say, well, when you read the horoscope, some people go, oh my God, how did they know? Or that's totally, what's happened to me today. And then other people say, well, it's so general that it's going to hit a certain number of people. So you can't really put stock in that.
I think it depends, right? I mean, it depends on whose astrology column you're reading.
Okay.
And who they're writing for. A lot of times, see, our charts are so complex too. So we're not all our sun sign. We are our sun, our rising, our moon, our Mercury. We're the whole picture. And so horoscopes are often written for the sun sign or the rising sign, but that's one aspect of your personality.
Okay.
If your sun sign isn't the most prominent feature in your chart, if your Mercury, for example, is the most dominant planet, then that horoscope might not resonate for you.
Okay.
But if you've got a strong sun sign and you've got a lot of Leo in your chart, for example, that Leo horoscope's probably going to touch on a number of your personal planets.
How many Leo things do I have?
You have.
She's laughing.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Wow.
6. I'm counting Lilith and the North Node too. So I'm counting 2 other points that aren't like major planets. But in terms of major planets, you have Uranus, the Sun, the Moon, and Mercury.
Which is pretty strong.
That's pretty strong.
So I just can't help myself.
In the 5th house, which is Leo's house. So it's like all of those Leo planets are even more, they're even more of an embracing their Leo-ness by being in that house.
So that tells me, I'm having a moment of awareness. So one of the things that my mom was always really unhappy with me was my standing out. Right, because I'm Chinese, and Chinese and Japanese have that saying, the nail that stands up is hammered down.
Wow.
So I carry around, every time I open my mouth, I have this voice in the back of my head that says, shh, you shouldn't be so big. You shouldn't be so, be smaller, be smaller, be smaller. And so that fight within me is one that has haunted me. And so what I'm getting right now is that I chose this, and that I am required to have a certain amount of that in order to do what I do. So I need to just knock that crap out of my head to stop, and I have been better. I say in the last couple of years, I laugh more about it than I do, but I do have that critical, who do you think you are? And it's funny, when I had Marianne Williamson, remember when I was interviewing her and I asked her, what she does with that voice in her head, and she goes, what voice? And what voice? And so I know that's my work. And for anyone else out there who knows what I'm talking about, and I think all of us have that critical voice to some extent, shouldn't have said that, you shouldn't have done that, you should say this, you shouldn't say that, is that if we can adopt this understanding to know that we are who we are, and we're okay, so that is an aspect of me. That doesn't mean I can use it. Well, yeah, I can use it as an excuse, I guess, from now on, but that it's okay. Yeah. I think that's the part where it's okay. and because we don't get that message, there's a certain message that you have to be this certain thing in order to be okay. And I love the fact we had Orland Bishop on, and we talked theoretically about the messages that we get when we're kids, that there's a certain kind of okay to be, and anything outside of that is not okay. Or there's a certain design that we're supposed to follow, and if we don't follow that, you're not okay. And with this expansive, broadened view of who we are, then at least there's 12 signs multiplied by risings and fallings and everything that you said that supports the fact that we are 12 or 7 billion unique perfect beings in our own way. I love that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, Tawana's turn. What else should she
All
know?
right. So, Tiwana, what's interesting about your chart is that so we talked about your Leo rising, right? Like that, and your rising sign is often something that you're moving into. So it's not you associate more with your moon sign, because that your moon relates to your relationship with your mother, and growing up that becomes one of your foundational relationships that forms your needs, your habits, your behaviors. It's more of the subconscious makeup, and we move into the rising sign. So your moon, where you came from, and the basis of who you are is in Sagittarius. Now that indicates to me that you have a real need for philosophical understanding. And
absolutely,
and spiritual understanding too, understanding and knowledge, and that translates into, for you, there's a real need to uncover truth. And so if anyone in your life is lying to you, and you have a black and white measure for honesty, like that's just not going to work for you. Because not only are you committed to truth and understanding, but you're also a Gemini, so you're a communicator.
Right.
So don't hold anything back.
And that's exactly where I'm getting to, where in my youth or my 20s or whatever, I would kind of just walk away, or I'd just be sitting there and I'd be fidgeting when something is not truthful, and then I wouldn't deal with it. But now I'm becoming more boisterous and addressing it, and all of my friends who are back east are like, oh, you're different now. I'm coming to LA because I want some of that. And I didn't really know what it was coming from, but it's me coming into more of who I am.
Exactly.
And I'm addressing the truth is like, well, hold on, you heard that from somebody else. We weren't there, so I'm always addressing things like that.
It's funny because you were talking about being the observer, which is totally up that philosophical understanding, just sitting back and checking it out and figuring it out.
And for a very long time, because I'm more of the observer than I am the conversationalist. And
I make up for all this.
Exactly. And I'm always comfortable with people who are that. My best friend is the one that talks, and I'm just kind of chilling out. But I always thought that, maybe I'm too quiet. Maybe I should force myself to say things. And then I finally came into the comfort of, this is just who I am. I listen. And because of that, I have a great memory. So people are always saying, you remember weird details. Like, how do you remember that stuff? I'm like, oh, I'm just paying attention. Or I read behavior. And I'm like, that person, she just took a dig at you and you didn't even see that, so the things I'm paying attention to.
Sure.
Observing.
That makes so much sense. And part of that too goes with having the Leo rising, which again, some of your one of the things that you're here to do is to step into your charisma, step into your presence, step into being seen more.
Right.
And so it's comfortable for you to sort of be in that sort of stepping backstage kind of place.
Right.
But you are moving into to kind of stepping up into the spotlight even more. And you have a lot of professional success indicated in your chart. A ton.
Awesome.
Like, your identity is very connected to your reputation and to to having a public presence.
Yes.
And so that's also something that I would really encourage you to let yourself shine. Like, there's just a ton of creative potential. You also have the ability to really attract into your life very powerful people. And and people with a lot of money. So if you ever want to do anything like produce a film or?
That's so great because I just sent an email out to this casting director and I said I want to be an executive producer one day. I have all this time on my hands because I've been afforded the luxury of I've booked a lot of commercials so I can live my life without working a 9-to-5 job, and let her know I need to know the insides of that. And so now I have a meeting this week because I see executive producer in my path.
I see it in your path too.
Thank you.
Yay. Well, I want to know what you see in my path. That's not fair. No, it's all about me.
I know. And bring it back.
No, but seriously, we have to take a break to thank our fabulous sponsors this week for this show on What's Your Sign. So we'll be back in 2 and 2.
Celebrate life on the beach and learn to surf with the M&M Surfing School. Whether it's on your bucket list or not, it's time to learn how to ride the waves. M&M provides you with everything you need. Safety first, affordable rates, equipment from ages 5 to 105, and expert instruction for all levels. Call 714-846-7873. That's 714, the letter U, go surf, and come to Seal Beach and start your life all over again with M&M. Register now at www.surfingschool.com. Celebrate summer and find a perfect bathing suit to show off your beauty. Yvette's Bikinis on Main Street in Seal Beach will flatter your body with bikinis, bikinis, cover-ups, sundresses, and other accessories in all shapes and sizes. Visit www.thebathingsuitqueen.com and get 25% off any purchase because it's never too late to have fun in the sun.
And we're back, and you are tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa every Tuesday at naturally high noon on Universal Broadcasting Network and every Thursday at 7 on my CNBC syndicated news channel, KCAA AM 1050. And we're talking about signs, and Rachel Lang is illuminating Tiwana and I on what we are and what we're looking forward to. So what do you see for me in the future?
For you in the future.
Yes.
I love it. I love these questions. So, and and again, we create, right?
Yes.
We're creators.
Yes.
So here's potential. What you do with it is yours.
Okay.
Yeah. Which means like you have the power to change things, to make things happen. So, hang on one second. Yeah. And so one of the things that I think is a real incredible. So this year, you've got some very powerful things happening in your chart from now all the way until we get into the late part of the summer. You've got till August. You've got Jupiter, which is the planet of luck and expansion, and the planet that indicates like opportunities opening up, doors opening, angels. Jupiter's is associated with the angelic realm, and so Jupiter, suggests that there are angels coming into your life. Now you could read that in terms of like there are new guides that you'll be working with, or
guys. Oh, guides.
Yeah. I think that's something that's happening too. We'll talk about that. Your love life
guys.
Your love life is about to get hot. Let me just say. But so there are new guides. There are new people coming into your life who will kind of be angels. So you're kind of moving into a place of relative ease. Yeah.
Love that.
Great. And it's going to be amazing for you. So you have this collection, you have several different things going on in your chart from now all the way until this time next year, where it's, you're professionally, personally, there are going to be opportunities for you to really step up and speak, teach. There's going to be a lot of change that's happening for you. And so you're going to be required to be very flexible. New people coming into your life who could change things like that from out of the blue. Like it's going to be unexpected surprises all year long.
Love it.
Yeah. And so you have Neptune, which is the planet of creativity and spirituality and like the planet that kind of gives us our rose-colored glasses and keeps them on so that we don't really see all the negative. So you've got this aspecting your relationship.
I run the 21-day fast from complaining.
That's right.
Yes.
So this planet is aspecting your relationship planet. So this is a year where, things are going to be a little bit dreamy, a little bit romantic. There's going to be a lot of creativity. You might be writing, actually. You might be writing love poetry.
Oh, well, my balanced parenting book is coming out this year.
Fantastic.
So, and the app, and who knows what else, because I do feel just the inspiration, like my fingers tingle almost all the time, just feeling that energy, that high vibration. So awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Anything
I should watch for?
That's a great question, and that's the question I often need to ask, because I usually focus on so much of the positive. I would say that with this Neptune influence, what can happen is that you can be very trusting, and which is a great thing. We love trust.
Yes.
Trust is a positive thing, but sometimes you might not necessarily realize if someone doesn't have your best interest at heart.
My father said before he passed, he wrote 12 things, and number 4 was trust in God, but lock your car.
Yes.
So that's my dad from the other side. Okay. All right. That's good. And then my sound engineer, Jarvis, is a Scorpio, born on Friday the 13th. So what's his future hold? That's the good stuff.
Okay. So, well, it's interesting because Scorpio, for the last 2.5 years, has had Saturn in your sign. Saturn is, again, discipline, responsibility, control. You've been building and building and building for the last 2.5 years. This year, things open up for you. So whatever you have been building, you have to look at what was happening 2.5 years ago and what you started. And whatever that was, whatever seeds you were planting, you worked really hard, you disciplined yourself, you buckled down, and now things are going to start growing. Things are start blooming. This is a very a prolific year of your life. It's a year when things start to sort of lighten up and become a little bit more easy.
Yay.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is what you don't know, 2.5 years ago, he said to me, inquiry, I want to work on, I hear you have a show, I want to work on your show. And I forgot. I did not remember that. And 2.5 years, he started working with me 4 months ago.
Wow.
And he's now my assistant producer on the call-ins. So isn't that interesting? All right. My daughters.
Okay.
You help
great.
me with my daughters. I have 2
Okay.
teenage girls, and I love them. Not to death. I just love them immensely. One's born September 13th, which makes her a Virgo, and she's my older one, Chloe May Carpenter, and the younger one, Sarah Way Carpenter. May means beautiful. Way, my father named their middle names. Way is serenity, and she
beautiful.
is a what is she? A Libra.
She's a
She's
Libra.
about October
yes.
19th.
Yes. Well, it's interesting because both of your daughters have Aquarius moons, which is your opposite sign.
Oh,
Yes.
that would explain
Well,
something.
well, it just explains what it explains is that that they both have a need to differentiate themselves from you, and that they see themselves as not in a negative way, not that they don't want to be like you, but just that I think that they both have this this need to sort of to be independent, to be sort of on their own, to stand on their own 2 feet. And I think that's a real statement. It's a good thing. It's a statement about how you raised them.
Yeah.
You said, I want you to flourish. I want you to shine.
I do. And they are.
Yeah.
And they are. It's
And
amazing.
They both have, and that Aquarius moon too has a real strong need. Their primary need is to help other people and to make a difference.
We're going to the wildlife refuge with 2 baby squirrels as we speak because they rescued them off of a tree over the weekend. And my older one volunteers at the aquarium, and they're both on MUN, and they're both on the tennis team, and they have wonderful friends who love coming over. So I'm so grateful, so grateful. So that helps. And they both want to be in helping. Chloe wants to be a doctor. Sarah's still getting to explore, which is what she should do at 15.
Yeah, she would be great. So she's, because it's interesting, her son is in the 5th house, which is in the house.
Chloe or Sarah, the younger one?
Sarah, the younger one,
okay.
yeah. Chloe, being a physician, being a healer of some sort, makes so much sense.
Yeah, she wants to help cancer, find the cure for cancer.
It's such a Virgo trait.
Is it? Okay.
Yes, and she's got Mercury, which deals with how you communicate, how you think, where your intellectual leanings kind of move, and that's in the 6th house, which is the house of healthcare and the house of healing and the house of service. So there's so much that she desires to understand about how to help other people, and so this is like her being able to take all of that desire and apply it to a very practical career path.
Yep,
which
that's her.
Which is great for her.
Yeah.
Really great. She's
Yeah.
sensitive too. Oh, she's sensitive, but keeps all of her emotions inside, so you won't see it. Like she doesn't.
Oh no, that part. See, okay, I'm glad you brought that up because that's totally not true.
Okay.
She's very expressive. I used to laugh when they were kids. You know, the little one would walk by and hit herself on something, and she'd be like, "Oh, I'm okay," and then my older one would hit herself by accident, and she'd be like, "Whoa!" And she used to choose clothing that said drama queen. So when they do not follow what the prescription says, what does that mean?
Well, that means that that means a couple of different things.
Okay.
First of all, that means that one of the indication that I was looking at that I said she keeps things hidden is that the moon, which is the core of who we are, is in the 12th house of hidden things. And so a lot of times people with the moon in the 12th house kind of bottle everything up. They have that tendency to bottle everything up. But I think for her, one of the ways that played out is that she has this Pisces rising and she has a very expressive mom. And so, I think that she probably looks to you as almost like to be a mirror. Like she wants to be a mirror of you in some ways. Like okay, mom. It's almost like she's
pissed.
Yeah. So she kind of.
Because I've got all my stuff all over the floor again.
Yeah. Which it's funny because the Virgos can either be really perfectionistic, really meticulous, really.
She is on some things, definitely.
Yeah. But then they often have like they can leave their room's a mess, and my brother is a classic Virgo with a messy room.
Who's a famous Virgo? Tawana's my resident.
That's funny, Virgos.
Do you know any stars that are
That's
Virgos?
one sign that I guess I don't.
No.
For celebrities.
Michael Jackson was a Virgo.
That's right.
Jackson.
He
Okay.
sure was.
Okay.
Warren Buffett.
Didn't know that one.
Yeah. Let's see who else. Amy Winehouse was a Virgo. Pink. Let's see. Yeah.
Expressive. There's the expressive.
Yeah. Beyonce, Virgo.
That's
Okay.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What about Sarah, the Libra? What is her? What's her let's see. What are her strengths and what are some things that might get in her way?
Okay. So one of the things that might get in her way, I'll start there, is we talked about the Saturn in retrograde, which indicates an abandonment fear. Early, the feeling of needing, the feeling that like kind of like perpetuates every, like all of her dating decisions basically, is like, please don't leave me. And with a Libra sun, she has a real need for partnerships, a real need for relationships and for closeness and connection with others. And so one of her, but the challenge is that in order to not be face abandonment, she might give too much, like
codependent.
Completely, and over nurturing and taking care of. She has a lot of like sort of service, indicators in her chart. So the she has the ability to really sort of give everything, give a lot away in relationships especially.
She's the peacekeeper.
Yeah.
She was nominated the conflict buster at school in middle school. So
that makes sense. All Libras tend to have they need balance.
The balance.
And so they have an ability to really see both sides of a situation and rationally look at things rationally without getting too much of an emotional involvement. And like John Lennon, Gandhi, these are two examples of very of Libras committed to social justice.
Right.
Jimmy Carter.
So what does it say that she would be good at?
She would be great at actually at a diplomatic career.
Okay.
At doing something something where she's stepping up on stage. She has. She also has a real need to express herself creatively.
She writes beautiful poetry.
Really? Oh, great. Yeah, well, she's got that Mercury in Scorpio too, which Mercury is the communication planet, and when it's in Scorpio, she can go into some very deep places and she has a very strong intuition, and so definitely anything creative would be really great for her. Right. Anything politically would be really great for her. Any kind of social justice or environmental kind of career would be.
That's
would
great.
Also be
I'm
really
going to replay this for her when she gets out of school,
right.
because she's in that place where she's asking the questions.
Yeah.
Right.
So it is wonderful. And again, it's not saying, you're not saying that you're limited to these things, but you're saying because of the makeup that you have, because of the choice of the stars you were born under, that these might be things that would make you alive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
One more thing
Yeah.
about Sarah that she's gonna she's gonna want to hear this over and over again and play this in her head.
Okay.
She was born with her life path moving toward being very successful.
Ooh.
Yes, but because that is sort of one of the things that she's here to do, she might be afraid to move into financial success and choose careers or choose, life plans that kind of keep her away from that. She has the potential to be very, very financially successful, making her own money, doing her own thing. She's got a lot of success represented in her chart. And so she needs to let go of any sense that she can't do it if she has any, because she's got a lot of success.
Thank you for that.
Sure.
Thank you for that, because moms can only say so much.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Do you have any questions?
Well,
for
my Leo moon is saying, what about me? Where's my
Leo rising.
yeah, or my Leo rising?
yeah.
Yes.
Well,
It's saying, don't forget mine, right?
Absolutely.
About
You
what?
have any questions?
What would we do the future part?
Oh, with the
for Gemini.
boys. For the boys.
Just in general.
Oh, just in general. Okay.
Okay.
Future part for
Either or.
Gemini.
Yes.
Future part for for Gemini. For, let's see. Okay, so for you, one of the biggest things that you have going on this year is that this is a year where there's a lot of spiritual awakening, where your right brain, the more creative, sort of the non-linear way that you of thinking, that feminine part, like that feminine part of the brain, that is all opening up and expanding in ways that might not feel comfortable to your very practical Gemini, detail-oriented mind. This is a time where there's a lot of creative processes in place that you just need to kind of ride the wave.
Okay.
Things aren't going to be 100% crystal clear. And sometimes you're going to have decisions that are coming up to you, especially as we get into the late summer, early fall. You're going to have some decisions that are coming up that you're not going to know, like you're just not going to be able to have an answer. And for you, being that Sagittarius moon, needing truth, needing answers, needing certainty, that's going to be very uncomfortable. Follow the follow the discomfort of that.
Okay.
Because what's happening is that you are opening your intuition. You're connecting with spirit and source in ways that only confusion can do. Because when a question sort of moves beyond the level of your pros and cons list, and then you have to go up and you have to go in a deeper way. And so all of that is opening up for you.
That's excellent, because my blog post last week was about intuition.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great. Wonderful.
And my own personal intuition, and opening up and trusting it more, and the stronger it gets, because the more I trust it, the more I can hear the attunement, the alignment.
What's the blog called?
It's called Acting Lessons Learned.
Acting Lessons
Yeah,
Learned.
and
how do people find you?
They go
to read it?
www.actinglessonslearned.com.
That's easy.
It is. I wanted to make it that easy. But yeah, it's an honest account of my journey and everything that I'm learning in my journey in this acting career, and it's pretty truthful. So the feedback that I'm getting is like, thank you for being honest. You know, when you said that you cried, or when you said that you didn't know how you were going to do these things, or when you fired this agent. So it's early. It's in its early stages, but I'm having a good time expressing the things that I want. The reason why I wrote the blog is because I have a lot of acting peers who have no idea how to be or what to do or whatever. And I have all this knowledge. And I said, you know what, I'm just going to put it in a blog, and then people can read it as they want to.
That's great.
And I'm going to predict something, but I see a book or a film or something coming from it.
Absolutely.
Because that's what intuition or my instinct told me.
I can definitely see that. I think one of I think in terms of timing, what's going to be happening. Oh, this is going to be incredible. So when we get into 2016, so actually after February or after September of this year, rather. What's going to be happening is Uranus, which is the planet of change. It's the planet of new beginnings. It's moving into your ninth house, which deals with publishing, and it deals with film directing.
Of course.
And so that's going to be there for about 8 to 9 years.
Oh, wow.
And so you're starting a significant cycle where uncovering all of this inner work and doing all of this inner work it will definitely lead to those kinds of opportunities.
I see a book title right now called The Truth About Acting.
I think that exists already.
Oh, shoot.
But
Well, I was channeling that book.
Exactly. Maybe not. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's
Well, we'll
in my
see.
head. Yeah.
We'll see. We'll play this back in 10 years and laugh as it becomes a New York Times bestseller.
Right.
So, thank you so much.
Sure.
Well, how can people find you?
People can find me at blissenup.com and or at Rachel, RACHELC, the letter C, Lang, LANG.com.
Wonderful. And you can get readings and consulting and all of that kind of healing from you, all kinds of stuff. And thank you so much for coming and spending your time and getting a dose of your bliss and wisdom about my life and about my kids and my friend Tiwana's. So let's take that in.
It's been such a joy to be on your show. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you.
We have too. And so welcome to the Balance Bar, which is the end of the show where I serve up stuff. And the first thing I'm going to serve up is my Asian Oprah giveaway, which you have generously donated a free 30-minute
session.
And the value of that is
$60.
$60. So the first person to go to my website, the number 4balance.org, and sign the guest book and say Blissen will get that free reading. I have a feeling it's probably on there right now because it's a great thing. The other thing is, it's been a while since I thanked all my staff and support team here at UBN and at KCAA. Tony and Bill here, Carlos, Mia, and Fred and Mike over at KCAA. So thank you. You want to do whistle or you want to do an applause? Okay, there we go. And please, if you haven't already, gone to Sedona, Arizona. It's one of the most beautiful parts of our planet, and I get to do an expected my annual retreat, May 16th and 17th. That's a week after Mother's Day, so it's a great thing to ask for. Come out there, learn still meditation, moving meditation, and how you can let go of all of those BS belief systems that are keeping you from being happy 88% of the time. So we are almost filled up. I have 3 spots left. So please do, and take advantage of my April Fool's special, no joking, saving $180 if you sign up and pay in full before April 1st. The other thing is I am sponsoring the Newport Beach Film Festival Chinese Spotlight again. So more details on that are coming up, but keep that in mind. It is on April 27th. So put that on your calendar. And and just to, so you know, unexpected things this year. I had a reading in the fall on the beach by Josh, and he told me the same thing. It's kind of creepy because he used the same words about this year, about this time as well. And already my first huge unexpected thing was being gifted an all expense paid trip to the Bahamas, and I'm going to be diving with dolphins in their natural habitat. So it's happening. So thank you. Next week, I'm so excited. It's my favorite time of the month. That's not true. Every week is the favorite time of my month on this show. But we are thinking Marvin Gaye. It is sexual healing with Dr. Marissa, because I'm determined to make pleasure a G-rated spot, or a G-rated topic, or G-spot rated topic. So, and by popular demand, you've asked for Davey Ward, tantric specialist, to come back to be my co-host. So tune in next Tuesday for Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa Pay. That's P for positive, EI. Thanks, Tiwana, for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
It's all about balance. Peace in and peace out. Woo! Man, we could...
Learned to cry at an early age. People around me, my heart in a cage. Life was a book, don't turn a page. I couldn't see past my rage. I wanted to dance, but I pushed you away. Now I'm on my knees, I'll listen to what you say. And you said, be my partner, dance with me, just hold up.